Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana.
This is Alfie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Tamaku.
Ringside Ring.
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Starks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Papa Dink, Brendan Dinker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans and ghouls and goblins, and welcome to Mischief Night on the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host, Joe the Panther the Third, and from the top of Metal Mountain, all covered in pumpkins and skulls, in the middle of the mosh pit, all covered in blood, it's the Happy Heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on,
Crap.
Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going today?
I'm being stalked by like multiple different killers at one time right now. Frick.
I think I am too.
I think we got multiple. You got the one in the middle. I got a bunch. I don't know what to do. I got 9 lives.
Yeah.
So, how you doing, Geekum? Ready for Mischief Night?
I'm rocked and ready right now. We got Ghostface chilling in the corner right there.
We got Jason. We got Ghostface. We got Freddy. We got Michael. We got It. We're ready to make some slasher magic here.
It's all right. But happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
So, you want to give a shout out to the guest, Joe?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. CPW is our family. Yeah, let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to the Deathmatch Slayer,
the Taker Souls.
Tombie.
The Taker Souls.
Oh, Taker Souls.
Hey guys.
How's it going? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm all happy because it's Halloween. I'm not all quite angry and scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I showed that video to my cousin like a few days ago, and she doesn't watch wrestling. I was like, why is he yelling? It's like.
This comes out of me like it's the metalhead inside me. I just want to shout as soon as the camera's on me.
Yeah. Metal Geek right there. The middle of the mosh pit right there.
Yeah. And then everyone just is like, oh, okay, maybe not that
guy. They see you and they're like, no, today I decided.
Not today. I think I'm getting out of the mosh pit. Tommy's here. So I think I'm going to go in the back.
The mosh pit starts clearing. Everybody starts leaving the mosh pit. They all go to the main seats. Like, nah, you stand there yourself. Yeah.
I think I'm good. right now.
Like you're all like,
How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. It's it's fun and we love. We're starting to love we love all our guests, but the UK people, we love you guys in the UK. You guys really make me and Geek think that we should have been going to interviewing people for the UK a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel like everyone sleeps on the UK because like a couple of years ago, like the scene got a bit weird because all of the guys went to WWE, and then like we were left to like kind of rebuild over the next couple of years. They're all coming back now though, like
yeah.
But like we've got like so many talented wrestlers in the UK, and we're such a small place, so like it's everyone's on every show. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on NXT Europe starting next year?
Is that like actually a definite thing? I still don't even know if it's a definite thing.
We don't know, but
if it is, that's like it's cool. I think as long as they don't treat it the same way they did the last one, because we all kind of got like an eerie feeling that it was like the end of UK wrestling, like as soon as they were like signing every big name. And then we were like, yeah, it's cool for them. They've got like a contract, and like, I wouldn't turn down a WWE contract. That's like cool. But then as soon as they went, it was just like, oh, okay, like we've got like some old boys that like, have been doing it for a long time that can still like help everyone out. And then there was like newbies, but all the people that were like up and coming and they were the stars of the UK UK and made the UK like stock levels rise and made us really popular. They're on WWE now, and that's going to be cool for like a year or two. But if they don't give it the attention it needs to, it will flounder, which it did. So, hopefully they treat it different with the European one, because like there's such a big scene all over Europe that hopefully they just cultivate it rather than like let it poach and then let it flounder.
Yeah,
I felt when NXT UK first started, I felt it was okay. They're gonna use Tyler Bate, they're gonna use Trent, they're gonna use all these guys, and they're gonna help the local little indie like promotions. And then they said, nope, they are our guys now. Sorry, bye, right?
Yeah, it's like it was an odd one. Like there was there was rumors that they were going to be allowed to work certain shows while still being under contract, kind of like how AEW does now, like where they're like contractors, like stars are allowed to be on other shows as long as it's not like a competing broadcasted thing. So there was rules about that, but then when it came down to the fine print of like some of the contracts, I think they were tied down a lot more than they thought they were going to be when they signed it. Basically, WWE could just go, no, you can't be on that show. No, you can't be on that show. So at the end of it, most of them just didn't work any of the shows, even if it was like, you know, a random show that nobody was going to see. They weren't allowed to. They just, or they didn't bother trying to. Yeah, it was a bit. I don't know. It was a bit of a weird swerve for them, like, you know. But they were getting paid. Like sounds.
I feel that there's going to be a little bit more freedom with the NXT Europe, just because of what Triple H is doing right now. I don't know if you heard the news this morning that Nakamura is going to face Great Muta in Japan.
The Great Muta, wrestler of all time, and yes, I did see that. Oh my god!
that's insane.
That's come out of nowhere as well, because like nowhere, like from the last time like Triple H talked about like doing NXT Japan, and like, you know, they were going to do all the different like training facilities all around the world. Noah was the one that he was like talking to, and then like apparently it just got squashed, and they were like, nah, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work. It's really surprising that, like, you know, they've got that contact and Nakamura, but Nakamura is like Japanese wrestling legend in his own right. Like he's a more modern wrestling legend there. He's like held in high regard, and the Great Muta is just, he's still there,
way up there.
Yeah. I love it.
Nakamura is, I was going to say, is on Okada Tanahashi level, basically.
Yeah, but he got took away a bit too soon. I feel like he went to WWE a bit too soon, and he didn't really know what to do with him. NXT knew what to do with him, but then as soon as he was on the main roster, it was like a bit like it kind of, they did a few cool things with him, and then he started having like nutshot trade-offs with like one of his like all-time rivals. Like they were just kicking each other in the privates. Like
Yeah.
It's like these other wrestlers are like on their own little hill, but Great Muta is all way on the top in his own temple. He's like
the legend.
He's in his own little temple, his own little world. Nobody could touch where the Muta is. Like, that's Muta. You know?
Yeah, the way he moves around a ring is so unique. Like some like when I first started wrestling, I've been wrestling like about 8 years. I couldn't tell you the exact date, but I used to try and imitate some of the stuff, but it just comes off as an imitation. Like, you know, like rolling out of the ring and going and getting a broom from underneath the ring for no reason other to have the referee take it off of you, and you just get annoyed at the referee. That's just like weird. And then just like, instead of locking up, just rolling out of the ring and like not trying to get heat, like not trying to like get the crowd like annoyed at you that you aren't wrestling, just like to like be more intimidating and just like breathe towards them. That's like, he's got like just a presence about him. That's why he's my favorite wrestler. Like,
yeah,
like watching his DVDs, you learn something every time you watch a match, and you could have watched a match like 50 times.
Yeah, that also goes to show that I actually got to see Great Muta. I think it was a month or two ago, when he made his debut in AEW.
Was you there?
I was there. Yes, I was there at Rampage at Arthur Stadium. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect Great Muta at all. I see the lights go out, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's gonna be Bray Wyatt, maybe it's gonna be like some like other, I don't know, Aleister Black or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
playing a trick or something. This weird music hits, and then the words "Great Muda" comes on the screen, and I'm like, no way, like.
Yeah, it's madness. I didn't expect that either. Like when I didn't watch the whole of that show, but I definitely saw like the highlights and I made a point of going and watching that whole match just because like I just wanted to see how that panned out. I just it's really cool, and it's cool that Muta's gonna get. Is it actually his last match that he's gonna have against Sting?
Yes, yeah, it's a last match in
Is
Japan.
it against Sting or is he tagging with Sting? Or I'm still not.
I think he's tagging with Sting in Japan. I don't know when it is though. But.
Either way, it'll be really cool. Like that's cool. They've got a history. I mean, Muta has a history with like pretty much anyone, like late 80s, early 90s fame. Like he was a part of like their like Japanese wrestling journey. Like some of the best Hulk Hogan matches you'll ever watch are the ones where in Japan is Ichiban, Hulk Hogan, and like Muta basically. Him and Stan Hansen just like walked him through there and was like, "This is how you get over in Japan. Do this." And then he's working like work rate matches, and then he comes back and he's hitting the big boot and like doing the leg drop, and that's what he does.
Yeah,
so it's good that he can switch into entertainer and wrestler, but like the Muta thing, like he brought him through that. He taught him how to wrestle in Japan, and I feel like Muta's also the one from Japan that can do it here as well. He switches to entertainer when he's in America.
Definitely.
He goes from work rate to full on like campy like superstar.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was just about to say that. Yeah, Muta's greatest. I'm sorry. Hulk Hogan's greatest match was against Great Muta, and that match was. I don't know, Joe. Have you seen that match or no in Japan?
Now I gotta watch it. Now you gotta send me the link for YouTube. I've gotta watch it.
Yes,
now.
Joe. I'm saying if you've never seen Hulk Hogan versus Great Muta, it's like Hulk Hogan could do this. It's fucking incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like if you randomly put like Rey Mysterio's like brain into like John Cena and he started just pulling out like weird moves and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, like what's going on? It's that because Hulk Hogan is still Hulk Hogan. He's still got the mannerisms, but then like he's still like, you know, big jack dude. But then he just starts doing like technical wrestling, like locking in holds and working them, and then working up and getting sent off and doing this, that, and the other. And it's like you've never seen Hulk Hogan move like that in a ring. And I just feel like Stan Hansen and the Great Muta like really like elevated him while he was there. It's just I would have preferred if he had brought a little bit of that to his like act when he came back. That's cool, but like again, it didn't stop me from loving him when I was little. It didn't stop me from getting my Hulk Hogan pajamas and like and jumping around and being like, yeah, real American, and giving it all that.
I think everybody I know had the shirt, and the only thing I got when I went to the garden, I got the bandana.
Bandana's cool though. Like
I got the bandana. Well, my friends had the Hogan Ripaway shirt they got from Toys R Us, and I'm like, Joe, where's your shirt? All I got was the bandana. But I went to the garden. I would go to the garden.
But the bandana is permanent. You're never going to be tempted to actually rip the bandana. The bandana is always going to be there. The shirt, one day you might get a bit overzealous and just like start ripping it. And just like, yes, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but it was the Ripaway one, so it had the little elastic.
Oh, it had the Velcro.
Yeah, the Velcro, so it ripped away on its own. But I was like,
I didn't even know that.
What to wear to school? You know what I mean, Tommy? What you wear it to school? Then you're like, you wear it in the somebody hit like tugs on it. It's open. You get yelled at.
Oh well, I mean, when I was in school, like it was more we were getting told off for doing the DX suck it thing.
Yeah,
like, that was detention every day.
Yeah.
You walk into class, hi guys, detention.
No,
All right,
it wasn't that. It was just any teacher. Like I was a bit of a naughty kid, so like if I was getting told off anyway, I'd be like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I was like, yeah, and then like detention. Get to the
you walk into class, you're like, hey guys, you're like detention. Just got in here, bye bye. Just sat down.
Just sat down. I just like did a crotch chop. That's it. I got a crotch chop. Everything. That was what we did.
The other Great Muta match I remember seeing him was he was number 30 in the Battle Royal in Ring of Honor on the pre-show.
Mm.
And this was in Madison Square Garden, and that was the best time I've ever seen Great Muta. To see him in Madison Square Garden was absolutely amazing. And to think, him and Liger were the last two in the Rumble, and I was like, Liger and Muta? Oh my God, man! You know?
Well, the thing is that was just before Muta had to start slowing down, because you could tell his hips were a bit were a bit gone after that. But that was just before that. Whereas Liger never slowed down. Liger until the other year.
But the thing is, Muta won the title one more time, which was absolutely amazing before he's retiring.
Have you ever seen this? Okay, we're not going to talk too much about it because I don't know how in trouble we could get. But have you ever seen the storyline with Great Muta where he used his mist and he impregnated some woman with the mist? You've never seen it? No. There's there's a YouTube video. I'll send you a link after this. It's he sprays between her legs, and then through storyline she lays an egg. And at one of the shows, the egg hatches and a sumo wrestler comes out of it.
What?
Yeah, it's absolute madness. I don't even know what promotion it's for. I just remember watching this little mini documentary where somebody was just breaking down the storyline. It was a woman. Japanese don't really care about this kind of stuff. Within their pop culture, she was dressed kind of like a Nazi, but without any of the stuff. It was just a black leather thing, and she had big high heels, and he tripped her up, opened the legs and sprayed between, and it got her all over. She acted like she was stinging, and then a week later she gives birth to an egg, and the egg sits on the stage and it cracks open, and then a sumo wrestler comes out, and that's the Great Muta's tag partner for a while.
What?
so weird. Weird. Oh. Yeah. Watch that documentary. It's very odd. Very odd.
Not as a badass wrestler, he's an awesome tattoo artist as well. Gage is telling you.
Yeah, I tattooed him a few times. He always has a tradition. He gets one a year.
Yeah.
So, what is the craziest thing you ever had to tattoo on somebody?
What are the rules on here? Am I allowed to
we don't care.
Okay. So you are aware of what a juggalo is, right?
What's that?
A juggalo,
the juggalo, yeah, the juggalo.
Yeah. So I did a traditional version, so American traditional tattoo, that was a cowboy juggalo riding a giant dildo, and it was juggalo dildo rodeo is what we called it, and that was an odd tattoo. Yeah, it's probably very fun. And then I've done a lot of private parts tattoos and stuff, and they get a bit weird sometimes. Some of the customers are a bit free and loose with what they do.
Oh jeez.
Oh gosh, imagine that. You're like, what do you need? You want me to do that? Okay, you're paying for it.
All right.
Do you know, I don't mind. I feel like that's an afternoon thing. I don't want to be doing it at 10:30, but usually it's at 10:30, and I'm like, I've got to look at this and 10:30. Oh no. Oh.
You wake up, drink your coffee or tea, and then you're like, yep, tattooing penises again today. Another penis. Yeah, they're paying for it.
You know what? I've never actually tattooed a penis. I've tattooed women's parts, but today I went in to the studio after a night out, and I was supposed to be tattooing somebody's pubic area, and his mate was getting his penis tattooed. His mate turned up. I got no shows for mine, so I watched somebody get their penis tattooed earlier. That was a thing.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
You got Thor's hat. You got Milner.
All right. Now go from the weirdest thing you tattooed. What's the coolest thing you tattooed?
Coolest thing. I've tattooed myself on people, little cartoon versions of Tombie and Sorry You're Dead and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. So I've had fans come in and get tattoos of me, and then I've got to tattoo a lot of wrestling oriented things over the years as well. I did like a Brothers of Destruction tattoo that was like Undertaker's like purple glove, but with like the Undertaker T. And then there was like a little chain coming from it, and it was attached to Kane's mask, and it just said Brothers of Destruction around it. That was quite cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Man, we went way off topic from wrestling.
Nah, it's good. It's good. It's good.
I would have get a tattoo of Kane like upper way with his hands up, like by the drop of the arms, and have Undertaker underneath in the shadow, like in the darkness.
Doing his pose with the urn. Like
yeah, like there's under like the opposite like mirror image of him underneath it with the urn like that with his hand up. Oh, I would have been that'd be a cool tattoo. I have like 4 tattoos, so I just thought about that'd be cool right here.
Yeah, you should do it. They hurt though. Like
I have a big one of Slimer on my thigh, so I understand pain.
yeah, a lot. Is it color? Is it?
Oh yeah, it's green. Yeah, it's green.
Yeah, that like lime green must have been horrible to get put into the skin.
Oh.
Off, yeah.
I had put my pants back on, and the blood was seeping through my pants.
Yeah, there's certain pigments that take a bit more work to pack in. So like, if you're doing something like this, like lime green, if it was like a darker green fading, it might be a bit easier. But like that lime green takes a little bit of work. That and like yellows and stuff aren't like the nicest colors to pack into a tattoo.
My sister was goofing on me for hours.
We are really off topic. We've gone to Ghostbusters, but it's Halloween. Ghostbusters, Halloween, it's fine.
Yeah. My sister was goofing on me. She's like, Randy, why be late? You're having your period again. It's like, shut up.
Speaking of Halloween, what is Tommy's favorite Halloween candy?
Halloween candy. I'm limited, right? So I'm one of them like vegans. So like I'm very limited on what I can have because there's a lot of gelatin in a lot of stuff. But Skittles are now vegan, so Skittles are a good one. Skittles, and then we've got like some selection bags downstairs that we've put into a bowl, like trick or treaters and stuff. And they've got like the Love Heart ones. So you don't know if you know what they are. The Love Heart candies.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like they're in a little packet. You open them up, and they've got like a little like nice saying like "Be Mine" on it, and then it's
like Valentine's stuff, right?
Yeah. They're just in every selection pack that we have, but they're like a standard one. Like I'll get them and just like munch on them for a while. Like chalk candy, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Say that their go-to.
Yeah.
Or anything chocolate that I can have.
Yeah. So I got Joe.
Is there a certain horror movie you'll watch tonight? And like our case tonight, your case that'd be already tomorrow. So like, is there any like 2 movies like tonight and tomorrow you'll be watching?
Okay, so I just generally go for horror over the like spooky season anyway. But tonight is the day before Halloween, where I don't know if that's the case. Are you already Halloween?
No, today's still Spirit Night. Tonight's the 3rd.
Yeah. So because it's Devil's Night, I watch The Crow like every time like night before Halloween because it's the Devil's Night in that movie. That's my tradition. Crow every year.
I'm gonna watch it as soon as we're done.
Season as well, like just everything about that movie. Yeah, I love it.
Yep, got that at Salem.
The scare. I always say this on every podcast this month. I've been saying Insidious is probably the scariest movie I've ever seen.
It's pretty terrifying. But the thing with horror, I think horror is so diverse because there's so many different reasons for horror. So like you could be watching it for gore. So like you may not want to be scared, you want to be grossed out. So like you've got like your Saw movies and your like torture movies and stuff like that. But my favorite gory movie to this day is Terrifier. Have you watched Terrifier without the clown?
I don't think I've seen Terrifier.
It's a white-faced clown, right?
Yeah, the sequel's just come out. I tell you what, it's some of the best practical effect gore you will ever see, and some of it's so out there. Like, I'm not even going to describe it because I just ruined some of the kill scenes for you if I was going to go into it. But it's the way he's a silent killer, but they made him the opposite of Pennywise the clown. So he's like drained of all color. He's like silent. He's not talking to him while he's killing them, but he's so animated like a clown. So he'll be killing someone. His next victim will be watching, and he'll be like, as he's doing it, he's like, It's like it's something so surreal about it, and there's like hardly any dialogue. So even when they fight back and hit him, he doesn't make a noise. So you hear the thud, and then he's like, he just does like a face like it hurt. So he mimes it. It's like it's really odd, and it's like it's creepy as well. Like it's really good. It's really good. I recommend like putting Terrifier into your thing. The sequels just come out as well, so there's 2 of them to watch.
Definitely, yeah. But like I said, Insidious is probably one might be. I love ghostly horror movies, so
ghostly, like spiritual, like
like scary stuff.
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into that stuff as well. Like, what were the ghosty ones that were on Netflix a while back? The Haunting of something manor. Like, I really
Connecticut, Haunting Hill House or something like that.
Was the first one, weren't
yes,
it?
Yes.
Like the other one that was like a British, like kind of country house thing.
Yes.
And, yeah. Like I liked them. They were like really gripping, and they were like really spooky. Like like you see something like walk in the background, and like it's really creepy.
You know what you would like if you liked Haunting Hill House, and this is really kind of creepy, eerie stuff. It's called The Cabinet of Curiosities. I've been telling Joe about it.
I've watched the first 2 episodes, the rats one and the first one, the one where he does the storage.
The storage unit, yeah.
That storage one. The acting in that was amazing. Obviously, it's like a episodic, different story.
So, dude, they get scarier and scarier every single episode.
It gets better as it goes along. Part way through the 3rd one, is it the one where he's doing the autopsy?
That's freaky. That's freaky.
I've watched part way through that. I haven't watched the whole way through.
I'm not telling you what happens though, but it gets.
I'm like it's Guillermo something. I can't remember his full name. It's the guy that did Pan's Labyrinth, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, correct, yeah.
yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
Wait, guys, there's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
Yes, they're making a Winnie the Pooh movie.
Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for that, and I'm like, they're really doing this, and I'm like, they're for real on this.
I smell a lawsuit coming.
No, they don't own the right. No, they don't own the rights to Winnie the Pooh. Disney.
Yeah, it's because it was written before a certain time. So like when you have like Alice in Wonderland, and you can do different versions of it, right? You can that video game Malice in Wonderland, where it's like it's a creepy version of it. It's quite a creepy story anyway, but yeah, you can do what you want with it. Same with Peter Pan, you're allowed to use that because it's like public domain, because it's so old there isn't any copyrights to the stories. So like Pooh is like quite old. I think Disney own the rights to like merchandising and stuff, but that's like a renewable thing. But that's the image of Pooh. So if the image is obscured in some way, I don't think it works. You know what I mean? They can't. Even if they do, we get a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. It's funny.
Is it going to be like a mask, like a Jason mask that they're wearing? That looks
the trailer's out. The trailer's out. The trailer's out.
I gotta see the trailer now. That's weird.
Yeah, it's full. Like it's Winnie the Pooh. He's like got like a really melted looking, like distorted face, but it's Pooh. Like you see him. He's yellow. He's got like really like chubby. He's wearing a red t-shirt as well. Like it's like Winnie the Pooh full on.
God. Wow. Oh, dude. My childhood just looked up at me and said, "We're fucked."
You know they're making another Pinocchio movie. You heard about that one? Guillermo del Toro.
Imagine that as a horror movie. Pinocchio. Imagine that as a horror movie.
I always thought that was quite scary. Anyway, when he turns into
little donkey.
Donkeys, that's terrifying. Like that bit, they're all like smoking cigars, and they're like, and then like that's like body horror stuff. That's when they turn into werewolves in an American Werewolf in London. That kind of body horror. That part of that movie scared me when I was little.
yeah, but I'm just saying they're actually making Guillermo del Toro actually is making a Pinocchio movie.
I like the idea of that because it will be creepy. I don't know if he'll make it into a full on horror. He might make it into like a fantasy, like kind of, I don't know, Pan's Labyrinth was a bit of a horror, but like, you know, like
No,
he'll
it
make
was horror. It was horror. It was horror a little bit.
Yeah, he'll make it that like kind of fantasy kind of vibe that he did there, but I don't think he'll make it full horror because I don't think they'll want him like doing that. I don't think many people. I don't think I want Pinocchio to be a horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They'll make it creepy. They'll make it creepy.
Weird if it's like it'll be too much, like a bit overload. Like that's my childhood. No. Like
I think they tried to make when they did Peter Pan, when they did Hook, they tried to make a different take on it, make him older and stuff like that, but it didn't.
Well, you didn't like Hook.
I liked it only because I liked the other kid with the red on. What's his name?
Oh, Rufio.
I like Rufio. I felt I was in. I think I was like in high school. I was like, I could hang with Rufio.
Yeah, Rufio's cool. Rufio's cool.
They should never killed him. They just should have had him get wounded. Like that could have been a total. See, I would have made a total different, like a separate. I would have like kept Rufio alive and made a separate story, all new universe, but Rufio.
Well, the thing is, they could have like because the Lost Boys were trapped there, like Rufio was trapped there. Like if they like settled it, they could have like actually saved the Lost Boys and took them out of Neverland, and maybe Rufio would be their like kind of mentor because he was the older one out of the. He was in charge of them there, so maybe he would help them like, you know, in the thing. They could even like have him like all limping and he's got like a walking stick because of it, or I don't know. They could have done like where he chopped his hand off and he ends up having a hook. You know,
I didn't get the whole death of it. I watched it like 2 months ago, and I said, "Man, Disney, you really dropped the ball, man. You could have made so much money with Rufio sequels. Like, dude, really?"
Rufio is a cool character, but I suppose that's where it.
That wasn't Disney. That wasn't Disney.
I thought it was Disney.
It's on.
I think it's Sony. I think it was Sony. Hook was Sony.
It's blurred because like maybe it's owned by Disney now because like Disney have bought up like everything. So
they did the whale thing. They just ate everybody.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that what they've done is illegal, but like, you know, nobody's saying anything because we get to watch everything on one app.
It's Disney. You just gotta go, sorry, Mickey, you don't get mad. All I can think is every time I think of Disney taking something or Disney not liking something you do, that episode of South Park when the Jonas Brothers don't want to be celibate. He's like, oh, what are you gonna do now, bitch? You don't want to do what I do. And he's hitting him with the canes. He's like, oh, get that. What are you gonna do about it, Mickey? And Mickey just hits him in the leg with something, knocks him over, he starts beating up on one of the Jonas Brothers. The rest of them are like,
I assume that's what like business room meetings are like at Disney headquarters. So I'm assuming it's Mickey.
Kids not want to do it, and they just have some short guy that's like, oh, so you don't want to play with me? You're in trouble. Bam, bam.
Yeah, I think that's that cutthroat. I think it's like Disney headquarters is just Wolf of Wall Street, but it's like Mouse of Wall Street, and they're just like he's slapping and doing cocaine and like it's mad.
Have a little guy just Mickey Mouse running around with a suit on.
Right, are we going to talk about wrestling? Because we've like
oh God, here we go. I have a wrestling question that we can go back to wrestling.
You forgot to and ask the most important question, Joe.
If our fans are not familiar with you, introduce yourself. Wow, 3 minutes, 33 seconds, and 47. Oh, jeez.
34 minutes.
It's fine. I am Tombie, the Taker of Souls. I am the lineal heavyweight champion for CPW. And I'm known around the UK as the deathmatch slasher because I specialise in hardcore and deathmatch wrestling. I've been wrestling for about 8 or so years, and I'm like as good as I've ever been. I'm like uprising now, and if you haven't heard of me, you should hear of me, and you should check out some of my stuff. You can catch my matches on multiple streaming platforms, and I'm sure we'll be able to like send out some links to some of the like the Patreon services and like, you know, IWTV links and stuff like after this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
We always start with that, but we got such a fun conversation. We just
with Muda and everything with horror movies.
All kinds of fun stuff, tattooing and candy and movies. Bah.
Yeah, you about something. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling or music or like horrors. I'm going for it. I'm gonna keep on chatting.
Yeah.
Our friend Edith is back in the chat. Yeah, all right. Shouts out to Edith.
Edith, that's a referee that we had on the podcast last year. This year, right? Yeah,
It was this year. Yes, it was this year. She's awesome. Yeah.
Edith, look, we have Slimer. Slimer's here. Slimer's always here.
All right, but so where's some of your favorite dream opponents that you would love to wrestle?
That I'd love to wrestle. I've been like knocking off a lot of like my dream opponents. Like I've got like a bucket list of people in the UK. There's a American wrestler like that does mostly like deathmatch stuff called Casanova Valentine. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, to her. Yeah.
Casanova Valentine. That's like, you know, one of my goals. And then Clint Margera, he's a deathmatch guy in the UK as well. He's somebody that I want to wrestle. And then just pretty much anyone that I feel like I could have chemistry with. I'm not like I've never had like high hopes. I've never been like, I want to go to WWE and I want to be on like this and that. I want to be on the big stage. Like if it ever happened, that'd be cool. But I started wrestling at the age of 27, and most people I know that have like I've interacted with people that have worked for WWE and stuff. They all started when they were like 16. And they were broken by the time they were 27, and they were there by the time they were 27. So it's like, I'd rather just like have the most exciting and fun matches I can have, and have the most fun that I can have while wrestling. And like I've every other match that I have, most of the matches I have at CPW, I really enjoy. So like, I couldn't ask for better dance partners like that I get. And even just in any place, I tend to just vibe with most people that I come in contact with in a wrestling capacity. So, yeah, I mean, the Great Muta would be one of them. Like if I could get one of them slots on his like, you know, victory lap, like you let me.
Yeah, gotcha.
Let me just job for you like once, like just do it, like just miss me, Shining Wizard, moonsault, do one last moonsault, go home.
That's it. But now Casanova Valentine, he's in the United States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen him wrestle before. I've seen him wrestle live. Awesome wrestler.
He does like a lot of like he's weirdly good with like Greco-Roman like suplexes and stuff, but he does like no ring death matches, which I've dabbled in. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. The fact that you don't have a ring is like the first time I did it, you could feel the crowd breathing on your neck, and there's like no way to like work a shot, so you just have to make full contact. You just have a little bit of a fight, and obviously keep each other safe as safe as you can do in that kind of environment when there's blood and glass and, you know, barbed wire being wrapped around everywhere. But he's the pioneer of that kind of wrestling, like no ring death match. He's got I think he runs a company like that does it, and he works for ICW as well in the chains, you know, that weird like ring that's got like all the chains and that's just really cool. I'd love to work there, to be fair.
I think he works for the New York Wrestling Connection as well.
Maybe he does his bits. He comes to the UK every so often. I keep on saying every time he comes to the UK, I'm coming for you next time.
You know, there's a promotion on Long Island where Geek lives. New York Wrestling Connection. He just said they do a match. What is it? February.
Psycho Circus.
There's a match called the Psycho Circus that would be up your alley, Tombie.
Yeah.
Geek, explain the match. There we go.
The Psycho Circus is everything you could think of in a hardcore match. Like they have, and sometimes the wrestlers really do get creative. Like one year, like for example, the whole point of the Psycho Circus is two men start in the ring like a Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah.
And the ring is basically all barbed wire.
Well, so like ropes, barbed wire, and or is it barbed wire around the ropes?
I believe it's around the ropes.
Like spider web.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't like that.
Oh no,
that's the one I don't like.
Yeah. So I think but anyway, two men start the match, and every like so often somebody else would come out, and half the ring is a steel cage set up around the ring.
That's really cool.
So and it's basically so it's half steel cage, half barbed wire, and sometimes and then people get eliminated through the match. Sometimes people get really creative through the match, like they've used mouse traps in the matches before, thumbtacks, whatever. You know what I mean? Legos, yeah.
Yeah, this all just sound like it's up my alley. Like, yeah.
Gotta get in touch on WWC before Psycho Circus is all booked up, man. You gotta come up.
Yeah, I'll have to get a holiday like booked and like get down there.
January,
I'll have to.
right?
We'll send you NYWC's information on after the interview on
yeah, man. I'm wanting to work as like many if I can get over the pond and work. That's like really cool.
If you can
That's
get
the biggest event of the year.
If you can get booked for that promotion, please let Geek know. Geek that's our home promotion. Me and Geek have been fans of NYWC for was it 14 years now? Geek?
Yeah.
14 years we've been fans of that promotion. That was our first promotion we ever went to.
Yeah.
I'll get into contact with them because I do want to like make a trip over the pond, like
wow.
Like ICW or
Imagine that, Geek.
GCW. Any
GCW.
I'm available.
Yeah, ICW. You'll probably see our friend Mittens over there.
Mittens loves hardcore wrestling. This guy is like the certified hardcore fan. Like, yeah.
He needs to come and be my fan. That's what it is. Like, more following, get me over there.
Oh, trust me, you'll ask what's his name, Matt Cardona. He knows a lot about Mittens. Just to say, Mittens knows what his saliva feels like on his face.
Oh, is that the guy?
Yes.
Where he like spit into it?
Yeah, that's Mittens.
Back, didn't he like throw like a piss jug on him or something? I don't know if I'm getting that wrong, but like I think didn't he spray it back or something with?
No, but Mittens is a cool guy. Mittens is a cool guy though.
Cool.
Yeah,
we should get him back.
Have Mittens turn heel on Matt Cardona. You show up and you go in. He's in your corner that day.
Yeah. I'm into
and Mittens can take bumps too, so you could turn on Mittens and throw him through a table. Big turn on him. Like, I don't need partners.
Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, I am a lone wolf. Right, so wrestling. Are we going to talk CPW? We're talking.
Yeah, we could talk about CPW. Yeah, definitely. Let's talk some CPW now. So, what do you want to talk about? What happened to United last night?
Last
math.
Yeah.
Last night, if you're allowed to.
I'm allowed to. Yeah. I had all the results were up online. I had a match for the inaugural Axeman Trophy. We did a big tournament. It got postponed because of like COVID and stuff, but we finally got like the final, and it was me versus Morgan Black, who's somebody that's been wrestling for years and years, but I have never faced him in a ring before. We went in there. We had a coffin match because it was Halloween. It's a very odd way to finish a tournament, but it was a big high stakes tournament. I go into it as the lineal heavyweight champion for CPW, and I lose. And I lose quite fairly as well. It's a hardcore match. We went through a war. I got powerbombed through a piece of wood. Loads of weapons were used. I took a big fall from the outside. We gave it everything. I got locked in the coffin, and then some of my druids came out, and they were disguised druids, and it turned out it was the Trinity Rebellion. Protest came out. I tried to defend Morgan because I'm a good sport. He beat me fair and square. Morgan turned on me, joined them. They took my bout, and now they're claiming that Protest is the lineal heavyweight champion. They stole my bout. Thus, I don't have a bout in the background just to show off. They've got my championship, and I'm going to have to go for it. I'm going to have to get it back off of them.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's rules in CPW, and I've got to sit back. I'm pretty beaten from it. I had to be escorted from the ring. I had to be carried out. Pretty rough.
Wow.
And I'm aching today.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
what is your pre-match ritual like exactly?
My pre-match ritual is I like a good stretch. I've got a barbed wire baseball bat called Shelly #2 that I bring out. I swing it around. That's how I kind of like loosen up my wrists and stuff. I get all stretched out with it, and then I do like downward dog, like yoga poses and stretch out and do jogging on the spot. I just get myself like hyped up, and then I get into my mode. Like I breathe like kind of like heavily. Like a lot of people think I'm really tired when I'm in the ring, but like just my vibe is like I like to breathe. Can you remember like it's kind of like a and I do that and I get into a mode. It's just so I can like harness all that like rage that I bring out in my promos and stuff, because I go out there and I'm talking shit the whole time I'm like wrestling somebody. If I'm punishing someone, I'm throwing them and I'm talking shit. So I just need that like air to like force at people. So I just get into character just to know that I'm not gonna like blow up while I'm doing it. That like heavy breathing helps me. A lot of people say it's probably a hindrance, but like it really is just how I like get through it. Like it's like one big at a time, and like that's what gets me up and gets me around and does all that stuff. Yeah, I just want to be the best me as I go out there. So I just make sure I'm stretched out and I just get into my zone.
Yeah. What is it with everybody naming their barbed wire baseball bat? You had Negan name his baseball bat Lucille.
Yeah. Yeah, well, everyone calls my one like Lucille before they know the actual name, or they call it Barbie, like, you know, Mick Foley's like
Barbie, yeah.
2x4. But my missus is called Shelly.
Abyss Janice. Abyss was Janice.
Yeah, my missus is called Shelly, and have you ever watched Little Shop of Horrors?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like Audrey 2, the plant. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just liked that, so I just wanted to call it Shelly number 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was literally that. Like it weren't, you know, it weren't even anything to do with like the Negan bat or anything like that. Like people assume that it is to do with that. It was literally, I watched Little Shop of Horrors just before I made the bat, and I was like calling it like my missus number 2. Like and she found it complimentary, but also like that's a barbed wire weapon, like, and you've just name that after me. That's a bit weird. Yeah. And I was like, well, you are 5 feet of fury, so it's fine.
we got Gage in the chat saying my wrestling character is named after Gage in Pet Cemetery. Yeah,
it's good. You don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
A lot of history on that road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, geez.
Just rolling through with the chat right now.
Oh yeah, I was Chucky last night. He's going for it now.
Yeah. Is wrestle me as I know as the Taker's shoulder.
We wrestled once and I hurt my shoulder and I was out for a bit. But
oh jeez,
yeah. He's a shoulder destroyer, Rennie. That's what he called himself afterwards.
Oh jeez.
And I think I've seen Tom is used as a strimmer on a person's back.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, strimming somebody's back, and I saw the dude the other day as well. Like, and he's got scars on his back from it. I was like, I never knew that. You never told me that. Yeah, actually scarred your back. He brought the strimmer to the show as well, so it weren't my idea. I wouldn't have brought that. I wouldn't.
And he's like,
like a weed whacker. I don't know if you know what a strimmer is.
Oh yeah.
Said,
yeah, like a weed whacker.
Yeah, and he likes to kick me in the nuts.
I do like to kick him in the nuts, yeah. Like, I like to give him the nuts, right, because he knows they're coming. But I like him to forget that they're going to come, and then that's when they come. So, like, he'll be, like, talking, and I'll be like, yeah, and I'll sling my fist or sling my foot at him. Or I'll pick my shoe up and just throw it at him. He loves it.
Jeez.
He loves it. It's a part of our thing. That and eating samosas together.
Oh, jeez.
What would you say though? What would you say the most hardcore spot you ever done was?
I'd say the most hardcore spot is I sent you the link beforehand, that TikTok thing. Lots of light tubes and stuff, and I was like D-locked to I've been D-locked to the top rope, and I'm like pretty bloody after it. I had the first no bare boards death match in the UK, so like nobody had ever done one before, so we had no like padding or anything. It was just bare boards. It was in a pub it was in a pub smoking garden, and it was packed. And like there was just glass and blood and like drink and barbed wire and everything. Every substance you could think of was just everywhere in the ring, and there was a lot of like glass everywhere. And then we did a big light tube spot where it was like made into a sword and
wow.
Yeah, if you want to watch it and like see what it's about, it's pretty rough. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it did get like a bit of steam. Somebody in the crowd recorded it for TikTok, and it was none of the wrestlers did. It was just a fan. They posted it, and then somehow it didn't get took down, and it's got over like 2 million views. And I'm like, how did I get like viral off of like something so like violent? Like stuff like that usually stays in its like little subgenre. It was just, and watching the comments rolling on it as well were quite funny. Like people calling me an idiot and asking if it was fake. Like, if it was fake glass.
How do you fake that? Like how?
Yeah.
Like
The
there was one I
scars
saw
on my head aren't fake. Like,
yeah, tell that to the doctor that has this stitch up. It's like, so what were you doing today?
Nah, super glue. Never go doctors. No.
Imagine that. Like I always joke that my
hospital.
like I always joke with my younger associates that know that I do a podcast and talk to pro wrestlers. They're like Joe, like if you're a wrestler and you had to come to work the next day after doing like a crazy match, would you be coming all bloody or still? Like, no, idiot, I'm gonna wash myself off. I have scars, but that's it. Duh.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Like, a lot of the cuts from like glass and stuff, they're like quite superficial. There was a few that I've had like they were pretty rough, but I don't know if you make out that one. That one's from light tube, through the tattoo. That was from the same match. I've got like a hole in my butt cheek, like where I landed on glass, and it went in, and like it pulled out like afterwards. But then like there was big blood clots that came out of it. I could put my thumb in the hole. So it's pretty deep. But then like over the course of a couple of days, they start closing up. Like I heal quite fast anyway. Like just over a week ago, I had tattoo needles like put into my head and like driven in at a company called Apex. Oh yeah, I didn't mention them. Kumite. They're the ones that did the match with all the light tubes. It was against Big F and Joe. He's like the biggest, if not the biggest, the most well-known and most like utilized like wrestler within deathmatch. He's like the guy at the moment. He just did CZW Tournament of Death this week. So like he's traveling across. I think he's going to be a part of Nick Gage's like invitational as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's the guy. Like being in there with him was like enlightening, and he'd never wrestled me before. And like when you go into a wrestling match, you don't know if you're gonna have chemistry with people, and like you kind of gauge it from the first few like strikes and first few like interactions. And there's always a bit of a nervous element to it if you've never wrestled that person. But as soon as I got in there, we just jowled. We just knew what we were gonna do. And there's a lot of like improv within deathmatch. So like you've got certain bits that are planned, and you have things that are in there. But like you go, right, so that's there. If we need it, if we feel like the crowd needs coming up, we'll go to that eventually, but we have to find our way there. So a lot of it will be like grabbing the person and making sure somebody isn't on top for too long. Because if you're on top for too long within a wrestling match where you're using weapons, like how haven't you beat the guy to death, Like if I steal chair and the other guy hasn't, I'm just hitting him until I go and get another thing. Surely he's just going to be knocked out. Like, so you've got to like make sense within the match.
Totally.
Yeah, it's. I think there's a whole other art to it, and wrestling is just art. So like, the same way horror movies are still movies, deathmatch wrestling is like the horror side of wrestling. And then I feel like metal is like also that, like like metal and hardcore punk and all that. That is deathmatch, and then you've got like your pop and your radio rock and country. That's your normal wrestler.
Yeah, that's normal wrestling. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Not everybody can handle deathmatch wrestling. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's abrasive. It's like I don't know what I equate it to. You're a metalhead, right?
Yes.
Do you know Converge?
I don't know Converge.
You don't know Converge, right? listen to Converge. Like after this, they are a band that describes themselves as hardcore kids with leftover Slayer and Black Sabbath riffs, and they are like foul face melty like metal, but with a guy that just squeals like he's a pterodactyl, like as their vocals. So when you listen to them for the first time, you don't get it. It's like it's really abrasive, but if you let it like sink in, then you're into it. I feel like deathmatch and hardcore is that. Like the first time you listen to it, the first time you watch it, sorry, you might feel a bit perverse because you like a little bit of it, but then you don't like it as a whole. But then eventually, like, it becomes like, oh, actually, that's rad. Like, I'm into that. I feel like any type of abrasive thing, like gore movies or anything like that, that's what deathmatch is. It's like really not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not. Like I've had people at work saying, I mentioned a deathmatch to somebody, and they were like, "So is that stuff real?" And I'm like, "How do you fake?" I just said it's like I said to you, Tombie. How do you fake a light tube to the face? There's a female wrestler from America that took a light tube to the face, and I saw her. She made a burn mark. She showed like a thing behind her, like one of those things you could put a burn mark from here to here on her face.
Yeah, it's like that's like the glass shattering and there's like chemicals in it that aren't as bad for you as they used to be. Like they've like took all the really bad stuff out. But it's not good for you, but it's not as bad. They do really sting when they like explode though. The chemicals hit the fresh like open wound, and it's like salt in a cup.
Yeah, I saw that, and all I could think is I should have screenshot and showed it to one of the younger guys at work with. I'm like, I asked the person, how do you fake a light tube to the face? And they're like, what? And they put it up to my store as the light tubes up in the hallway. I was like, how do you fake that to the face? And
yeah, there's just no faking it. It's so real that it's like the fakest thing in wrestling that anyone does is punch, right? Because if I punch somebody a few times, they should go down. Like if they're taking it directly to the face. So you have to make them as real as possible. So most of the time when people are punching each other, like apart from the overtly like not hitting them ones, that you go, look, they're fake. The ones where they look like they're hitting each other, usually it's about like a 40% sparring like hit, and you're not going in there to like concuss anyone or anything, but you're making like a slapping noise on it. Like it's as real as it can be without hurting each other. Yeah, so that is what deathmatch is. It's real stuff, but you're doing it in a smart way that you're not. I've got limits to what I'll do in deathmatch. Like, I'm not a big fan of fire because, like, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but like fire, I have used fire, but it's an unpredictable element to it. Like, I don't want to ever like hurt someone by like a fire spreading on their leg and them getting burnt up or whatever. Like that, like if it happened to me and it was my fault, that's like cool. But it isn't cool. But it's not. That's me. But like if somebody ever got burnt from something that I did, not into it. And I'm not a big fan of like knives and scissors and things like that, stuff that can like fully like impale you. Like I'm not a big fan. I'm not against people bringing them out and gimmicking them, like where you go to do it and then like miss and then it's forgot about. I just don't want to land on a bunch of knives. I don't want to land on like open scissors. Like bored. Like I'm not about that. That's not me. Because at the end of the day, I'll hardcore stuff. I'll bleed for this. I'll pick glass out of myself. I just don't want to like be shivved and have to explain that to my missus and be like, yeah, I did it. So like loads of people would cheer me.
I got paid nicely, but I'm really hurt.
Yeah. No, blame me.
And when I watch like knives and stuff, I watched Jimmy Lloyd get like a pair of scissors like stabbed near his collarbone into his neck. He just pulled it out. I was like, dude, you're rad. Like that's like that made me like want to throw up. Like that's like next level stuff. Like I'm like, you can keep that. Yeah. I'll do the Hulk Hogan big boot. You.
Yeah.
Wire on my foot, obviously, but like, yeah.
To me, that's like a murder match. That's not even a death match anymore when you're using the scissors. That's like murder.
Murder party.
Yeah, that's a Jason Voorhees stunt right there.
Yeah, and I'm not against like people like using them in a like smart way, like you're gonna do it, and the idea of somebody almost putting it in somebody's eye or whatever, and then it getting moved and maybe stabbing into a like a table that they're gonna use later, and then it like gets took away from the ref and you never see it again. I'm cool with the visual of like almost doing it, but I don't want to get stabbed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't blame it.
No.
One thing I'm gonna miss is spending time in the locker room with Tombie.
Yeah, like he likes the banter and the jokes and stuff. Like we try and keep like really fun locker room environment. So like every time I'm in a locker room with people, I try and like make them feel at home. I have a joke with them. Like we take the mick out of each other. Like have a laugh.
Yeah.
Like, having fun. That's the whole point of it. I'm only wrestling because I find it fun. If it ever wasn't fun, I've got an 11-year tattooing career that like I've been doing. So like it's not my only thing. But wrestling is supposed to be fun, and if somebody's not having fun backstage or it's not being professional, like that's when it gets shut down.
Yeah, like you got to be professional when it comes to this stuff because, like, if you're not, people will start like catching on and be like, "Wow, this person is not worth being." Like, the word will start spreading. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have this guy backstage with people because he can't respect the game, and then you won't get booked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like there's a weird one. Like you can be overly serious in a locker room, and professional isn't necessarily being like super serious. You're allowed to joke with people. You're allowed to take the mic. You just got to like read like the room and know that you don't want to be insulting anyone like to the point where like they feel bad. That's not what like UK banter is about. Like we joke around. And we try and keep everyone with smiles on their faces, and just like we want to leave like the crowd with smiles on their faces. That's the main goal. Like we don't want anyone leaving the locker room thinking, "Oh, I didn't like being in that locker room. They were mean to me," like, or they weren't professional. Like I think being too serious can sometimes give people that vibe as well. But like keeping it professional and fun, not serious and not fun. Like that's it. So like. Professional and fun. That's the best locker room environment, and everyone's usually friends by the end of it. Even if you've half of the people you haven't met before, you usually like, well, you're my new best friend. You know, like that. The thing from Step Brothers. Are you my new best friend? Yeah, let's go.
I love that. I love that meme. That's like my favorite meme to send to a wrestler we just started talking.
Do we just become best friends? Is like yes, right?
I joke with Shorty all the time when I say something to her, and she agrees with me. Like, did we become best friends? I'm like, Joe, we've been wrestling buddies since last year. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is how did you get your start in the wrestling business? Like exactly.
It's an odd one. You're aware of Nathan Lewis, right? From
yes,
yeah. He does the Fifi persona, and he's done Cleo and Russell Hardwood, right? So I know him from outside of wrestling. We were mates before, and I've always been into wrestling, like to the point where if I knew there was wrestling schools when I was younger, I would have went to one, but I just wasn't not aware because like the wrestling scene for a good 10 years was just dormant. There was only a few places you could learn, and then if you did learn, there was only a few shows you could be on, so you probably weren't even going to be on shows. And if you was, you might not be getting paid. But by the time I'm 27, I've got all my wrestling gear because I did CM Punk as a costume for Halloween one year. I thought it was funny. Like I just went to a costume party in my pants, like with the kick pads and everything. I bought like the legit Asumi kick pads that he has, and I was like, do you know what? I know there's wrestling schools like in Birmingham or around like the place. I'll go there at some point and I'll use these. I'll invest. And then it was a couple of months later. I was playing basketball at a park. And my mate came and he was like, I'm going wrestling training later. And he didn't even know that I liked wrestling that much. We were acquaintance kind of mates. We weren't like full on like, we're way better friends now. But like, he was like, oh, you want to come along? And I'm like, yeah. I put the basketball down, went straight to the wrestling venue, and then it was CPW. It was their like training thing, and I just never looked back. 2 months later, into the training, I wasn't ready to be on shows in a match capacity, but they could tell that I had the physical part down to it. So I could do like strikes, and I could like restrain people, and like I could look like I hurt somebody, and then I had all the tattoos, so they were like, oh, he'd be brilliant to just be like a thuggish bad guy, like he'd play the thug, be a part of like a faction, and then he could learn on the job and like eventually pick it up through training and working in the matches, like get his reps in. So I just did that. Like I got inserted into a short run with the main guy, Mr. Richards. Like he owns the company, and he was the main guy at the time. Like, and it weren't like a singles thing. It was like we had a leader, and he was like fighting him, but we would come at him, and we learned so much from it. And I'm grateful for being in a faction first, because it made it so I had like a safety net, and then eventually my personality started showing through, and I just developed Tombie from there. But that was 8 years ago, 27 years of age, oldest rookie in the locker room. I did the DDP thing, but yeah, that's how I got that.
You're not that old.
But old as far as wrestling's concerned. I mean, I still feel it. Like,
yeah, I wake up the next day going, "What did I? Does anybody get the license plate on that truck?" Like,
not enough DP or Tiger Balm in the world to stop the aches.
God. So I jokingly tell my wrestling friend, my coworkers, this is why Joe sticks to working in retail. I couldn't handle being a wrestler, because the next day I'd be at work like practically Grandpa Joe with the cane. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go on the top of that ladder. Oh man. Can you do that for me? I can't do that. My leg hurts from yesterday. Too much work.
You don't realize what parts of the ring actually hurt until, like, I mean, you take a little bit of time off, or when you first starting, you kind of realize it, but then you forget. So when I came back from my injury, or when I injured my shoulder, hitting the ropes just hurts. Like, so if you're hitting them properly and you're creating some like force as you come off of them, like you have like bruises in a line, like in your back, like you'll have like the two, and then like your bum's probably like gone on I'm quite short, so your bum's probably gone on the bottom one, and you hit and send. Like I'm a British wrestler, so I'm 5'8", but I've got a 7-foot personality, so it's good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but yeah, like the ropes hurt. Like that's like a painful part of it. Like hitting the ropes, like you get like bruises underneath your arms and whatnot, and that aches for days. Like that's the kind of ache. Like the bumps and stuff, usually you feel them for the first 2 days, but like the ropes can like hurt you a week later, because like your whole back's like going into it, and you're putting your arm over, and you get like grazes. So every time you sweat, it like hurts under here, and yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Wrestling life.
Yeah, don't take it easy. Like, don't like take it lightly going to wrestling training. Like, but if you have a passion for it, like I would say, shoot for the stars, like, and do it. But go in there knowing that the bumps are real. That's like a real thing. You just got to learn how to take them in the least impactful way. Flatten out. Make sure that you're taking it on all of your body, not just one part of your body, and that's it. Yeah.
Yep. What would you say the greatest advice you received is?
Stop being an idiot and just do it right. You know how to do it, so just do it right. Yeah. Like quote Mr. Richards. Like, like there's I've had to be like reined back like throughout wrestling. Like, I lose track of what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I know my character, that's not an issue. Like I know my persona, I know everything, but it's just like little parts, like maybe not translating stories as well. And you come back and you kind of know at the end of a match, like if you've not done exactly what you need to do, but then like figuring it out, and then like having somebody just go, how to do this, I've seen you do this, so just do it right. and then just going, yeah, I do know how to do this, don't I? Like, I'm just gonna have to go out there and read it and just make sure I'm doing it right, like, and keep tabs on what I'm doing, and not necessarily go to the plan that we planned, the divert and make sure the story that needs to be told gets told. I think that's like, be adaptive and stop being an idiot. You know what you're doing. That's probably the best advice ever done. If you know what you're doing, just do it.
Yeah.
My final question is, Joe, do you have anything else, or?
I think I got everything I needed.
All right, my final question would be, what did you say like your greatest achievement is in wrestling? You'd say, and say, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Well, like, so these little stages. So I'd say like the first death match I had, like, I was super psyched for it. That was like achievement, and then like just my first match in general. So they come in layers. So like, as of now, like, becoming CPW lineal heavyweight champion, that's like the top thing. There's only 4 people that have had that, and I'm one of them. It's like the heavyweight championship plus, like, it's the thing you want to be doing in CPW, and CPW is my home promotion. So being at the top of the set, obviously I haven't got the belt at the moment, I'll have to get it back, but like, being at the top of the being the rightful CPW lineal heavyweight champion, that's the top tier. But there's lots of achievements that, like, you know, probably to come that may top that. Do you know, maybe like, just like, there might be a match that just hits me, like, you know, maybe I have a match against Mr. Richards one day, and like, you know, that's my crowning achievement. You know, like, I don't think there's a pedestal that, like, I'll get to and then that's like gonna be it. Like, I think the way I see it is, when I choose to step away, I think my probably crowning achievement would be like giving somebody else like the torch. That'll be my thing that I'll want to do the most, like, make sure that, like, whatever I've garnered and the respect that I've got from the crowd, from backstage, I can pass that on to someone. And like, I mean, like, just the connection, especially on the family oriented shows, the connections that I have with like some of the kids, like, you know, how I'm like a shouty, like, scary person, but they know I've got their back and I'm their favorite, and they like, I'm an idol to them. That's like really like special. Like, having that with like them, that's probably the crowning achievement, because I don't think that could be really topped. Like, the connection with the audience, like, knowing that I'm like creating fans and people that are going to be into it, and like dinner table memories, like, later on in life. You know, I remember that time, like, that weird guy with the Tombie, like, he was my favorite. Like, if somebody could bring me up in a conversation in 10 years time to their like family members at a dinner table, like, that's quite cool. Yeah, I'd say that's the crowning achievement as far as like the whole scope of wrestling. But within the wrestling sphere, like, definitely the lineal heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
CPW represent.
Yeah, CPW. We love you guys.
Gage says, thank you for everything you've done for me in CPW, and a road trip for food is on the cards too.
Yeah. Late night food.
Like the time that he dresses the Grinch.
Oh yeah. He's still got. All right, there's a picture of me dressed as the Grinch one Christmas, and I'm holding like a newborn child that was brought to the show, and it is like the most terrifying picture you have ever seen. This
oh jeez, I had to see this picture.
This big. I'll send it to you afterwards. It is pretty terrifying but funny, and it's like my favorite picture from wrestling. Like, I've got loads of pictures of me like high angle suplexing people where their head looks like it's about to hit the floor, but top tier wrestling photo, me as the Grinch holding a baby with a creepy smile on my face.
Oh my god.
Man, this has been a fun interview, man.
Oh god.
I don't want it to end, really.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about wrestling that much, but I can come on again. We can get this going.
Oh yeah.
Maybe get like everyone involved in the chat, and we can get some like wrestling stuff out of me. But like horror movies, watch Terrifier 1 and 2 this Halloween. Get a gore fest in, and then just like
watch Insidious.
I love
Insidious
podcast around Halloween as well. It's really cool.
I was even thinking maybe we could do one around December. We could spotlight the CPW roster.
Yeah, man. Maybe we get like a few people, and we can like get them together at like the PC because we've got a performance center. We could
Yeah.
try and figure out like a time frame that we can get people in for an hour, and maybe we can have a panel, and like
That'd be cool. I would love that.
Figure if we can do that, even if it isn't that, even if it's just somebody one person's holding the camera and they pan to
yeah. Because we love you guys in CPW. Like I have friends that are from here that are not even from England. They're like, where can I find these guys? Always have all the CPW people. I'm like, I tell them the websites, and they're like,
Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Patreon.
I gotta get the Patreon. I'm like, dude, get the Patreon. They have some good wrestlers. You gotta check out their stuff.
Yeah, man. Patreon. Like, there's like so many years of like back catalog on there. It's like really like nobody in the UK was doing it. They were outsourcing their like digital media to like different companies, like IWTV and things like that. Like, I'm on IWTV for some of the other things like that's super cool. That like I'm on there with like GCW things and all that. But
that's cool.
Yeah, but CPW, we've got our own Patreon, and nobody else in the UK was doing that. Nobody was like doing these streaming services and stuff. We just created one, and then like through lockdown, it helped us like connect with like our audience and still keep like connected. And it's just cool that we were able to deliver for our fans like through like a hard time like lockdown, like create entertainment, create like a sense of community, even though we weren't allowed to like be face to face, and I weren't allowed to high five people on the way in and stuff. Like, it was just like, I just feel like Patreon, especially like during lockdown, like popped off, and I feel like we need like to do more and get more people like involved in watching the CPW Patreon service.
Definitely
on demand. It's really good.
A panel would be good, man. All right.
I think we should do a panel. Yeah, like more questions.
We had all the big names. We've had we've had Kiara, Shorty, Alfie. We're trying to get more. We want more people from CPW like that we haven't had yet. Like,
yeah, I mean, like there's like
Morris. We have Morris.
Yeah, we have Morris.
Get some of the more grumpy ones in there as well, because we can like separate the tables. Maybe have 2 tables, and if there's some that aren't like so talkative and they're a bit grumpy, we can have them, because you can only ask them a few questions before they get a bit arsey and then don't want to answer any questions. Got a few questions out of them, and then they bugger off.
You haven't had me, guys. We tried, man.
We tried so bad. We heard so many stories from Shorty and Kiara. Like, no, he won't come. He won't come.
Dale Wilson would be a brilliant guest, because he is the man. He's the guy that like he
invitation's open, Dale. The invitation's open.
Dale, that door has been open so many times, and your students all close the door. Like, no, you don't want it.
Yeah,
you don't want them.
He is the glue that holds CPW together. Like,
he's a busy guy. He's like you won't get through to him.
Yeah. that phone's been ringing for 2 years, Dale. You just like it's covered by books and dust and spiders. It's like, nah, let it ring.
The phone's still ringing, by the way.
It's been ringing since we got Kiara and Shorty and Alfie. Oh my God. That would be an awesome tag team. You, Tombie, and Alfie versus like it have to be like the two dark wrestlers, Alfie and Tombie versus Shorty and like who's another bright and cheery male wrestler from CPW. That would be a good team.
I'm trying to think, because I'm a pretty good guy, so like I mean,
Morris.
Maybe Morris.
Morris, yeah. Well, I've had loads of matches with Morris, so they're always bangers as well. He's top notch. Like, that is, when I started, he was like really, really young, and like you don't realize the potential of people when they're like that young. They're so like moldable and stuff, and now he's just like a wrestling unit. Like, he's the machine. Everything he does is top notch. Like, I wish I started at the same time as him.
Yeah,
I was able to like take that knowledge in and like work as hard as he has, like, because I mean, by the time I actually do think I probably would be in. He's one that I could see like go into NXT or something like that, because he's just such a work ethic. like his work ethic. And there's no way he's not going to be at the top of CPW. He'll be lineal heavyweight champion at some point. He'll have to for it, but like,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
but yeah, at some point, I can guarantee that Morris will have to kill me, and then I'll be gone, and he'll be CPW lineal heavyweight champion.
Let's definitely work on something for December, guys, because that would be fun to end the season off with the UK wrestlers by spotlighting Coventry. I think we got to do this. We have to plan this at the end of when we're done with the podcast. We have to start planning this now.
Yeah. We'll get everyone.
Joe's planning things on the podcast. He's what's the word? He's starting something now. He's sprinkling stuff right now, saying this may happen. This may happen. This may happen. like little hints. I think, and I said this before, CPW needs to come to America.
Either that, or we can work on having us as guest commentary for a match. And have us watch the match, and we can do guest commentary.
Oh, I mean, like you'd have to get in contact with like CPW management, but like I'm sure that's a possibility. That's able to do. You do like post match like recording that you watch and you have a live reaction to, and then merge them and put them together. That's possible. Or you could literally like just do that. You could do that yourself. Go on the Patreon, maybe like have a live reaction to it, and like send it over to us and see what it is.
CPW comes to
got it already. CPW comes to the States would be great.
Yeah, it would be good. We always get a holiday out of it. That's what he wants.
Oh, and it's also me and Geek have been talking since last year of maybe taking a trip to the UK. We want to come to the UK so bad. Like,
if you come to the UK, you have to come to CPW, and plus,
that's on our list. That's on our list.
That's number one on our list, Tombie. Number one.
So if you came to the Midlands, like Coventry area, you can get to everywhere easily. So it's like a good anchor point to like go to. Like it only takes like 2 hours to get to London on a train. Like like if you're not driving and you're wanting to get like public transport, just getting a train to London 2 hours. 2 hours, and it's that, and that's nothing. Like these Americans, so like these are used to traveling like.
We take trains, New York people, right, Geek? We take trains. We New York people,
definitely.
But you tell them what the only thing wrong about me. You gotta tell me where to get off, because I'll be like, listening to my music.
Just take the bullet train, Joe. The bullet train.
I'm stupid. I'll miss my stop.
All of our trains, like they do have like people telling you over the tannoy what stop it is, and they're on a screen as well. I usually have like you can have train apps and stuff, and they send you like a notification on your phone. So if you listen to music, it'll interrupt your music and be like, "Yo, get off."
I heard the hardest train to navigate is probably the Japanese trains.
Yeah, because like they only open the door for like 10 seconds, and then you're like, gotta get on. Like they're like open, get in, boom, close, gone.
Yeah, that's what I heard. The hardest is the Japanese trains to figure out where to go.
Because if you miss a stop, like you've got
to
screwed. Yeah, you've got to get off, go back to the start, and then get back onto the track you are, because there's so many different ways it'll go. Yeah, that seems. I don't like travel and stuff. I overthink it, but like train apps and stuff like there's no way you can go wrong with train apps in the UK anyway. So when you come to the UK and you wanted to like travel around, CPW first stop, and then like make the circle, and you can meet some new wrestlers. You meet some of the people at CPW that you met over these podcasts.
Yeah,
you feel like as well, because you've been watching the matches and stuff, and then you can go and meet new wrestlers all across the UK, because we're a small like island, but we're packed full of talent. Like there's British wrestlers that are just killing it.
There's a lot of stops we have to do when we go to the UK, Joe. A lot of stops.
Yeah.
Besides wrestling, we want to see Big Ben. We want to see this. We want to see that.
Yeah. All that stuff's really, really good. Like even now, like if you leave it a couple of years, go in and not going to see it for like a couple of years. When you go and see it again, you're like, that's super rad. Like just Big Ben's like it's a dominant figure just in the sky. When you go on the bridge and you look at it from the bridge, wow, cool. Like, yeah, it's still really cool.
That is awesome. Yeah.
All right.
So where could people find you, Tombie? Exactly.
Find me. I'm Tombie Tattoo on Instagram. And you can get like Tombie Wrestler on like Facebook and stuff. But I usually just go through my Instagram because I run my tattooing business through that, and I run most of like my wrestling stuff. So if you want to see like images and videos and stuff, they all go through that. They filter through. So Tombie Tattoo at Instagram. And I don't really like post on YouTube because I'm just like super busy and I wouldn't keep on top of it. Yeah. But if you want to know where any of the shows that I'm doing, I always post the posters on there, like on my Instagram stories and on like actual posts, and you should be able to find me there. And if you want to get in contact with me, maybe you want to ask about merchandise or ask about anything, just drop me a DM on there, and I always reply to everyone.
Yeah. Do you have any upcoming shows or that you can announce?
I'm the worst with my diary. I've got some shows coming up for Apex. I think there's an unspecified date for Kumite Pro Wrestling. I should be on one of their shows in the near future. There's a few that I can't talk about that haven't been like announced yet, and then
it's fine.
And then there's CPW ones like every month. So if you just keep an eye on the CPW Facebook or their Instagram, you always see the posters. If CPW is about, I'm going to be there.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's it. I'm the lineal heavyweight champion, rightfully so. Not got my bout at the moment, but I'm going to sort that out probably at the next show. Yeah. There's definitely one around Christmas. There's always like the Xmas Bash, but there's probably going to be one before that. I'm really bad with diaries, so like I have it written down in my diary so I don't like book tattoos the same day. But just keep an eye on the CPW Facebook, and if you want to see me, I'll be there.
Yeah, we want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and taking the time out of your day, Tombie. Man.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Thanks for talking to me, and we had a conversation about horror movies and like other stuff before wrestling. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch The Crow now. But like,
it's already on my PlayStation. I have to just put it in the system.
that guy is just
the third.
I'm the Metal Geek.
And we will catch you in the next one.